So Anisha Mackenzie, you did the thing. You did a
Sure,
senior.
sure did.
Well, one thing I remember is you telling me a couple of years ago that you had been thinking about your senior recital since you saw your first senior recital.
Oh, I remember seeing it very specifically. I remember being a freshman and looking up and just being like, dang, that's going to be me someday. To even imagine what you're going to become in 4 years' time. And I used to spend a lot of time just fantasizing about the dress and the music and the themes and everything.
Well, you did have some good themes. I loved the music. Your program was so rich. There were things that really suited you well. And tell me about the music that you did.
So the first two pieces I sang were arias from Cendrillon by Massenet, which, as you may remember, was the opera that we were going to sing last spring. I and Cassidy Wallace were going to sing the role of Cendrillon, and unfortunately, due to COVID, it had to be canceled. So I am very happy that I got to present that music that we had spent a lot of time working on and that I'd really fallen in love with. So I really wanted to make sure that was a part of the program. Then I sang three songs by Hugo Wolf. I sang Auch kleine Dinge, Heb auf dein blondes Haupt, and Lebewohl, which I love singing. I love singing Wolf. It is so dynamic and emotional, and it's like a little opera in a 2-page song. They're so good. They're so good. And they've also really helped me grow as a musician because they can be a little harmonically complicated sometimes. And then I sang Una voce poco fa by Rossini, which, speaking of growth, oh boy, that song gave me grief. I've been working on it for the past few months, but I'm really proud of the way that it turned out. I'm really proud that it's a song that I have in my repertoire now. And that song has let me do some things with my voice I did not think I was capable of. And then finally, my English pieces were Otherwise by Ricky Ian Gordon, Coyotes by Ricky Ian Gordon, which is a super fun song, and So Anyway by Brian York from the musical Next to Normal, which is what I had always dreamed of singing as my ending piece for my senior recital since I was a freshman.
Well, it was a wonderful program, and you had about 5 minutes of rehearsal for that because someone came in to play for you at last moment, which was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
You had the awesome Rick Rowley. Tell me about that.
It wasn't a problem whatsoever. He is such an amazing musician. He just showed up, we sang through it, and it was like, dang, cool, great. Let's put on a recital. Um, it's really such a gift to be able to perform with such experienced musicians as a student. It's really like you in that moment you're like, wow, we do all this technical work, all this memorizing, all this academic stuff, and now I can just relax and make art.
It was wonderful. What was your favorite part of this whole experience? Like you said, some of this music wasn't new to you, some of it was new to you. Um, if you can think about, wow, what catches your attention about this? This was, even though I know Le Voce Vocal File was a wonderful leap into repertoire you didn't perceive that could be a part of your wheelhouse. Just if you can think about something that maybe really stands out in this whole process of learning and studying that you can talk about.
There's something really like crazy about being a live performer. You work for hours and hours and hours every single day for months and months and months just to perform a 30-minute recital that's going to disappear the second you step off stage.
Wow.
I cannot express how worth it those 30 minutes are. Like, I've had a couple of moments throughout my time at Texas State where I could just kind of feel everything lock into place, where you just get that sudden understanding of, wow, this is what I'm here to do. I am so happy in this moment. Everything I've worked for has come into fruition. That moment of just like bright golden light that appears out of nowhere just makes everything worth it. And I get that that sounds a little like esoteric and a little, but when you feel it, you know. I don't know if that answered the question.
Oh, you did. That was really it. That there are moments of insight and aha. And like you say, something comes together where we start to find ways of navigating for ourselves. Because I think even as a teacher and someone who has spent a life of performing, it's hard to tell somebody what you so clearly told right there, that all the work and all the carrying on and the tears and the joy and the this and the that, they do turn into these glorious moments. And that's why we do it. Otherwise, it seems like it just seems like a weirdness, doesn't it? But that it is all worth it, and that it is a magical experience. And I like it that it is magical. Tell me about some practical things like, I know in your background, your parents took you to Norway and you learned how to speak another language. What's it like operating in other languages and learning music for you? Speak about your process a little bit.
I don't know if like my experience is that much different from anyone else's. I find it like I have to do all the work that everyone else does. Um when it comes to language work, which is I think probably my favorite part of the process, other than the actual performing, is like understanding the poetry and creating stories is my favorite part of the process, and that's inherently tied to the language, of course. Um, but like the work is all there. You have to understand exactly what you're singing about, and I guess I don't know if I have help from having like a diverse language background. It's a really important to engage with exactly what you're saying. Otherwise, you're just making noises, right?
Yes, indeed. So all the work that everyone else does is woodshedding the diction, wood
Mm-hmm.
intervals, woodshedding the rhythms, all the, dissecting
Yeah.
it, pulling.
Doing your translations, memorizing your translations. When what makes it easy for me to perform, and performing is my favorite bit. I just love telling a story and pretending to be a character and being a character. Um, you really got to know exactly what you're singing about, and being able to tell that story in your own words before putting it in the words of someone else when you're on stage um, helps me a lot.
Yes, it sort of grounds you, definitely grounds
Mm-hmm.
you in something.
Yeah.
I got Terry over here talking to us. Um, I'm trying to think what else I would really love to know is, tell me about some of the favorite pieces of music that you've ever done.
Oh, um, gosh. The first one that comes to mind is freshman year. I sang "Fairies at the Bottom of Our Garden," which I took to Nats, and it was just one of the first like character pieces that I had sung, where I felt fully engaged and acty. It was cute. That one sticks out to me a lot. Of course, I love singing Songbird. Like that role feels like it was made for me. I don't know what it is about it, but it just fits. It just felt like it fit so perfectly. Singing La Curandera was really neat. Singing a brand new opera was a wild experience that I feel very fortunate to have, and definitely learned a lot from that. Oh, there's so many. I don't know. The other day I found the recording for the Magic Flute on YouTube, and I was just singing along in my car. Still all up in there. That was really fun.
I know when you practice something as much as that, rehearse and everything, it really starts to become a part of who you are, which I think is very powerful. We carry it with us throughout the years. I just think it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the whole concept of that. And I thought the three ladies were extraordinarily, intergalactic badasses because you did it in that Star Wars thing. Talk to me about
Mm-hmm.
that a little bit too. The whole putting together of the opera.
Ah, wow. I mean, all credit to Mark Reynolds. I feel so lucky to have gotten to work with him, and I really hope I get to work with him again. He's one, an incredibly creative director, two, an incredibly creative teacher. He's so good at portraying his ideas, and he's so good at letting you create your own ideas and bringing who you are to stage in a way that no pressure, No, don't even trip about it, dog. You just do you, and I'm going to support you and create something with you. So I've never not enjoyed working with Dr. Reynolds. Appreciate what he did with the Star Wars opera of trying to modernize it and create something new with it. Because man, we've all seen the Magic Flute. We've heard it 3,000 times. You know,
Yes.
let's change it up a wee bit, yeah. And the same with doing something like La Curandera. That's different. That's new. Which we've talked about this a lot. I think there's a lot that needs to change about the opera industry, and pulling an opera that is so different, like La Curandera, and fresh and surrounds not white people is neat.
Yes. Well, talk to me about collaborating. What have you learned about just, collaborating with others to put something together, or maybe because you've worked with some really good pianists in your time,
Mm-hmm.
collaboration, which is the fun part, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, collaboration is so important. Having a connection with the people you're performing with makes such a big difference. Like I worked with Dr. McNally a lot these past 2 years. I found that we had just such a great relationship that really helped me become a better musician. Like I felt supported and I learned a lot from working with him. And of course, like with my other singers, we are really so fully like an ensemble and a family, and that's like my favorite thing about Texas State, and like why I chose to come to Texas State above any other school is because there's really like a sense of like camaraderie rather than competition amongst
Mhm.
company. So I've really enjoyed working with everyone here. Everyone's so ambitious and supportive at the same time, and everyone brings something so unique. I think our works are really good, and I that is very much thanks to the relationship I think we all have as an opera company.
I think so too. And our school environment is very nurturing. Some people have talked about that seminar is
Oh,
playing a good role, or talk about because you have a theater minor, you have an opera minor. Talk about that for people who might, be interested in Texas State, and this interview can help guide them in making some choices.
okay, so seminar is great. Seminar is incredible. Like we are performers, but we're all teachers. Like we have to learn how to teach and how to be taught. We have to learn how to accept criticism from our peers rather than just our teachers. And we also have to learn how to deliver that criticism. And I think that is the best thing about studio, as well as getting an opportunity to perform every week, which is also incredibly important. The opera minor is amazing. It's so good. I get to take all these theater classes that I otherwise wouldn't get. And half of being an opera singer is one half is being a musician, yes, of course, but the other half is being a performer. Like there's people watching you on stage, and you have to know how to do more than just sing. You have to be able to dance, and you have to be able to act, or else no one's gonna come watch. Like you can pump out some real good CDs, I bet, but you have to be a performer. And through taking the opera minor, I've been able to take opera theater class, which has been one of the most rewarding experiences. That is the class where we put everything into practice, what we learn, like the music and the acting and everything. I've gotten to take my acting classes. I've gotten to take dance classes, which not my strong suit, but has given me like a sense of my body that I wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah, no, I have had such a well-rounded education thanks to taking both the music major and the theater minor, the opera minor. I feel like a very well-rounded performer as a result.
Yes, I think so too. And it also makes it possible for us to, add hours into the schedule, which would be otherwise too full and too, crowded to be adding things, which is why we created it. I really am appreciative of that feature that, sort of sets us apart in that regard. In your time at Texas State, that really stands out in either concerts or just classes that you liked.
I can tell you about like a cringy freshman year experience where I was like,
Oh yes, let's do some cringy freshman
I do
experience.
some cringies. There's two from freshman year that really solidified like I belong here. This is it. This is I am not the annoying choir kid anymore. I am amongst annoying choir kids now. And that was freshman year when George Sani invited all of the voice the new voice freshman to his apartment, and we had a little party where he made us some food. And at one point, we started sight reading a pentatonic song, which is very embarrassing. But I was like, "Dang, this is what I'm here for."
I love that.
I'm surrounded by my people.
Yes.
And the other one was open house for the Greek fraternities in the music building. I remember on the upper floor, just surrounded by people who are singing very loud choral music, and I was like overwhelmed by music. And they were like, it was all student led. People were just doing it because they wanted to. They just for the love of it. They were just singing, and I was like, I love singing. I want to be here.
I love that.
So, yeah, no, there's a lot of drive from the students to just like create things, and it made me feel so at home and excited. And dang, I want to create things too.
Yes, exactly. I know him. I remember when I went to school, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm finally in the room with people who love it like me. I don't feel like, the odd man out or whatever. Yes, suddenly it's like I'm in my tribe. I have found my people. And it's a whole building full of them. And people who play instruments I've never, dreamed of playing. I know it's really wonderful. That's a great recollection. What other recollections do you have that stand out?
There's so many things.
There are
Well,
many things.
I have had a jam-packed 4 years.
You have. And even though we ran into COVID-19, I feel like we have still managed to hold as much intact as we can for one another. And I think that's what I love about seminar every week is that we see, even though we're separated, you're in your room with those beautiful deer paintings behind you.
You're from IKEA.
Yes. And I have great memories of people singing in their kitchen or in their bathroom where they
Or in their car.
yes, in their car. It's crazy, but that we have kept moving toward our passion. And I think of artists who have throughout the ages struggled to make their art despite war or all sorts of hardships. And it really is a testament to the artistic spirit to say that no matter what's happening to us right now, we are continuing to move forward and act in a way in which says, this does not stop us as artists from creating and searching and looking and bringing ourselves to a greater feeling of aliveness and sharing it with one another every week. It's been a great joy this fall. And I really loved your program, and I wanted just to say to you how much I appreciate you, and I've enjoyed having you as in my studio. And you're a magical little person. I'm here to tell you straight out. And I wish you all the good things, and thank you for making Texas State a place to spend for part of your journey. And I look forward to hearing about where you're going to be going next and what you're going to be doing next. And you must keep us constantly posted because we definitely want to know about it. All right. Thank you, Annisha Mackenzie. I loved your show. I love you too.
I love you.
We'll say goodbye.